Oh.
Hey, how you guys doing? This is the producer. Welcome to the Marvel Hacks presented by Brothers Comics. You are jumped back in a little bit late. We have got caught in the time stream too for about 2 weeks as we jump back into Legion Quest Part 3 from 1995 as we on our way to the road to the Age of Apocalypse, which is the end game for this particular miniseries on the line. Almost a full complement of the Marvel Hacks. Brother Beavis is back for his normal spot. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up from the back of the bus?
Yeah, you got to go first, but that's okay. Also on the line, it's Big Hutch who's joining us back. Oh wow, let me think. I would say you hadn't jumped on a Marvel Hacks pod maybe since what's that Teen Titan series that we did?
Do we do the Judas contract?
Yeah,
Did
the
we get that
Judas
one?
contract.
Shit, was I
No,
on it?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Big
you
Hutch
was.
ain't jumped on anything but a milk carton in a while.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
sure. Yeah,
life
you
be
go.
lifing.
Yeah, it do be life, and that's for sure. That might be a little unfair, but it's probably not that unfair that it's been a while since you jumped on. So yeah, so we got a full show tonight because it's kind of going to go in a bunch of different areas, and you'll hear, you could check this out on YouTube because it'll be some cut up clips in here to kind of break this up because it could become a long podcast. So I'm doing my best to prevent that from happening. So all right, so here we go. Let's just go ahead and jump straight in. So first up, let's set the show. There's the recap here. Oh, I already skipped the slide. So come on, technical issues. There we go. So to set the show, we're going to recap X-Men 40, which was the last issue that we had done. And then we're going to review the Fantastic Four movie. Two-thirds of this group has actually seen the movie. You'll be able to figure out which one didn't see it very, very quickly. And then for 80s kids, which we all are, this was a rough week for the RIPs. If you listen to us for a very long time, that was a kind of a constant thing in our podcast when we did like Blackety Black or just the regular Brothers Comics podcast where we would kind of talk about when famous people passed away. And this week was bad for, like I said, for students and children our age. We'll get into X-Men 321, which is the Legion Quest Part 3. I'm going to talk about Bobby Drake because he may be a dick and we just didn't know it, or maybe we knew it and we just ignored it. And then the last part is the companion book for this particular series, which is Cable issue 20. There'll probably be a lot. If you are a Cable fan, I think I need to make this
Yeah.
disclaimer every time we do this podcast. If you are a fan of the character Cable, there's going to be a point where I'll tell you to jump off because nothing good is going to happen in that particular bit. All right. So let's jump into the whole show here. All right. So if you hadn't joined, Hutch said he bought all of these books,
I
a
did.
long time ago. And then why weren't you on the pod then?
I thought, I swear to goodness, we were doing them or I did them because I read these things a long time ago. And then, or I think I read with Joe House or something. And
Mm,
then, right, we were doing this podcast, and I was like, damn, I guess I got to do some research because I didn't like them when they came out.
really?
Yeah.
We must have
What?
recorded these on like Earth 823 or some shit. Like, because we definitely all have memories of doing this, but it definitely did not happen.
It definitely did not happen.
That's
Yeah,
the Mandela effect.
maybe. So, recapping X Men 40. So, Legion has already put his plan into place. He's settled into the past in Israel. He's gotten involved into the lives of Charles and Magnus, making himself like a mental health patient in that particular hospital. He winds up seeing how traumatized Magneto is from his life of growing up in a concentration camp and his once whole brain that had all his powers together, which made him this powerful to be able to time slide like he did, becomes all fractured again, and now he's getting back into being crazy Legion. Present X
Normal.
Men, yeah, present X Men have called Cable in,
Uh,
and they've come up with this neogenic recombinator to kind of get a chance for him to go back into the past, which we'll talk about when we get to Cable 20 and then the team that are displaced, which is Storm, Psylocke, Iceman, and Bishop. They're stuck in the past. They barely know what's going on. They just got each other's names. I think they've been there 2 weeks, and then
AKA normal.
Yeah, and then Lalandra has shown up on Earth with a gang of Watchers to warn the X-Men that the MCon crystal is acting up and everything is being destroyed, and y'all need to do something about it. So
It's like the two worst things can happen. Cable shows up and the Shi'ar show up.
Sure,
yeah,
right. And you got the Brainiacs of the group in the back in time fucking up.
We're here to help. Oh,
I don't know my name, and I can't control my powers. But other than that, I'm here.
Spinning that forward, Hutch, since you weren't on the previous podcast, we'd had a discussion on YouTube, which got a lot of views, about Lalandra is the worst. Like, if she shows up, like, everything comes completely off. The wheels completely fall off.
The whole damn universe is about to get fucked when she shows up.
Yeah, and then there's no good time where she shows up and things are good for the X-Men.
I'm fucking your leader, and I'm also about to fuck you.
Yeah.
When Charles broke them down on X-Men 97, I was like, oh, I finally kind of get the Shi'ar. That's how they suck. They just like ride off everybody else's back. I finally get it.
And my sister's worse than I am.
Yeah, we name checked that in that run too, because it's like, man, every time you show up, there's nothing good is going to happen for these poor mutants. All right, so we'll come back to the X-Men here in a bit. Let's jump on. All right, so this will be for you two. Fantastic Four came out last week. Did decent box office. I saw it on opening. Well, I saw it on Thursday before the opening day on Friday. Brother Beaver saw it a little bit thereafter. I'll go first. I thought it was okay. Like, again, we're at the fourth version, or of the sequels for the other one. The fifth version of a Fantastic Four. Because the team is so kind of hokey and cheesy, and I think it's embedded into the IP at this point, I thought this was probably the best Fantastic Four movie that you could have done. Like, I have no real complaints about it. I thought the casting was fine. It got a little hokey with some of the jokes here and there, but like beyond that, and I was not a Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards kind of person. I thought the casting of Thing was good. I thought the Johnny casting was good. Invisible Woman was good. Setting it in the past was perfect. Spoiler alert, how they dispatched of all of their absolute terrible rogue gallery within the first 7 minutes of the movie was one of the best things they could have ever done, and it not being an origin story. Like, I had no issues. Galactus looked great. I mean, no cloud, Hutch. Like, I have no real complaints. Am I jumping on like, whoa, my God, am I gonna go back and see it again? Am I streaming it, a booter? No. But I thought it was a good enough movie. I have no real complaint.
You want to go to the front of the bus, Mr. Beavis? I'll throw in I'll do my bit.
Shockingly, I think I agree with everything the producer said. And I think Will Stacks also said, like, he gave it a C+, and I was like, that feels wrong, but like, you're right. It's like, I totally agree. It's as good a Fantastic Four movie as you made. You could make. It's just also a really good, really well-made movie in terms of the casting, the design, everything like that. So, but to me, it just like, it doesn't, I don't know. It's like eating something and still being hungry. I guess maybe
Chinese food.
Yeah, maybe I have the cosmic hunger of Galactus now. But it feels to me like what I think they should have made. Like, if Quantumania was the kickoff, like it should have felt like, okay, like, it just opened the door for what comes next. It doesn't have to do anything more than that. Now, Quantumania sucked for a variety of reasons, but it feels like it was like a palate cleanser before, presumably, like, we trot out everything that everybody loved, the Russos and Tony Stark or RJD and all the callbacks. So it's like we're ready for nostalgia time. I think that's the risk, is like, are they ever going to be able to set up something new? Or is this just like, set the stage to get back to things we liked, which is unsustainable at this point. Like, they can't keep trotting these guys out. So,
right. Hush, even though you didn't get a chance to see the movie.
Yes, I have not seen this movie. I have not seen a Marvel movie at the movie theater since. Since. Anyway, it's been a minute. Since Wakanda Forever, the last Wakanda movie.
Okay.
All right.
Wakanda
so
goes on forever.
Right. Sorry, it does. But anyway, so the answer is, I think I might be the biggest Fantastic Four fan here.
Yes,
and wait.
That's fair.
Yeah,
definitely
sure.
fair.
All right, so I looked at all the Jessica Alba movies because of Jessica Alba. The movies were kind of awful. But yes, I like the Fantastic Four. I think the best Fantastic Four movie actually was The Incredibles #1,
Hmm.
and so hopefully I will watch this eventually. I don't know when though.
Yeah, I just again, if you've listened to us for a long time, if you go back, like we know, having seen Doctor Strange Part Two, having seen Thunderbolts now for the post credit scene, and now having seen this movie, and now knowing what the post credit was in this particular movie too, like we know where this is going. Like I mean, like this is setting up Secret Wars Part 3, which we did review. We definitely did review that one. This is setting up Secret Wars Part 3 with Doom being in charge on Battle World or on some particular area or planet. They're just kind of blending in what was, I think, as Invincible Iron Man when Tony Stark was actually Doctor Doom, or Doctor Doom was Iron Man or whatever way they did that. I can't
Whichever way you want to
remember at
look
this
at it.
point. But yeah, like so they're blending those two things together, and that's fine. We're gonna see the world. When you saw the end of Thunderbolts, if you saw the post credit, you saw the Fantastic Four ship coming into Earth, whatever Earth that is, into the standard MCU. So like, worlds are gonna be colliding, but that's going to happen, and that's fine. Like there's a good story that could be told there. Can they tell a good story? Like I don't know. The question on the slide here is, is the MCU back or whatever? Like I don't. Brother Beaver said it. Like I don't know if bringing it back is necessarily the best thing that they could do. When this comes up in the RIPs here momentarily, I was like, you know what? Going back to the one person that was good before is not always the best option. It's just the safe option. And I think Marvel's playing it safe.
Disney.
Well, Disney, Marvel, whatever, but they're just trying to play, it's like when they, shit can to do what Rain Johnson after that second Star Wars of the other trilogy, and then brought back, dude, and then next thing you know, freaking, the Emperor is fucking, and you got kids, and like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we bringing that back? That doesn't make any sense. It didn't make anything, but it'll get a cheap pop because people want to see the Emperor or whatever. So
The thing with this movie too is like we know what's coming because we've read all the books, but like should they have done more to have been like, no, this is where we're going with this? Because everybody's like, the few people I talked to who are casual fans were like, so where do you think this is going? I'm like, oh, it's going exactly here. Like this is 100% going to happen. But they didn't like. So during the movie, I was wondering like, okay, are they going to move the world and create the incursion or like what all these things? The other thing that hit me was like, I thought it was a big twist, and it's in the trailers now. But like the whole Galactus wants Franklin to not eat the Earth. I was like, oh, that's interesting. They kind of abandoned that. Like the populace didn't really like rise up against them more than a few seconds. But I was like, oh, that could be an interesting arc here. But they just kind of moved past it real quick.
Right. Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I was not expecting that. But then I saw trailers after that, and I was like, oh, they put that in the trailer. So okay.
Yeah, and then again, yeah, sorry, but so is Franklin a mutant? Like that opens up that particular door too. We know we have an X-Men movie coming eventually at some point in time, hopefully before we die, and like it's all there. I always get a little bit weird when people are like, oh, Marvel fell off or whatever like that. Like I think that was that was standard. Like that was going to happen. Like after Infinity War, there was always going to be
you got the B leaguers at this point.
Yeah,
and right. I mean, the other people are 10, 12 years into their characters.
Right.
You got to phase them out eventually.
Yeah, and you can't keep just running. But I mean, Robert Downey Jr. has got to be post 60 at this point by the time this movie comes out. Like, what are we, like? You can't. Like,
right.
I just like.
And you're running out of good villains too.
Right. I mean, again, it was never going to happen. They launched Disney Plus, then there was COVID or whatever. The move to be at that particular time would have been to pause the movies for 3 to 5 years just to catch up, to recast and do all that. But they were never going to. Yeah, but they were never
Somebody
turning away
you
those
gotta do
billions
something to
of
earn them
dollars.
checks.
Yeah, they were never turning away those.
It's just like the expansion they've gone through in comics. Like comics start to get some traction, and then they just start making more and more titles, and then everything falls apart. Same
they're
thing.
like, oh wait, yeah,
Wolverines, 5 Spider-Mans.
Yeah, Punisher.
Right. 12 Deadpools.
Hey, have you seen the Little Caesars commercial with Fantastic Four?
No, but I did have the pizza.
So
you poor dear.
If you can check it out, watch the commercial, because like I think somebody explained what running was to Vanessa Kirby, and she'd never actually run. Like, watch her run out of the Fantastic Car. It's one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. I don't know if she was directed to run that way or whatever, but just you check it out if you can. I'm assuming it's them. I don't know. Maybe it's AI or stand-ins. I don't know.
Probably AI.
It's funny.
I'll check it out.
And I had no issues with the gender bent Silver Surfer. I mean, there was no reason to. There was no reason to do it, but there was also nothing bad about it either. It didn't matter, and and then like it's a good movie. Like that's pretty much all I could say. Like I was like, oh,
it got better reviews than I almost said the Falcon and the Snowman, but the Falcon it got better reviews than Thunderbolts too.
Yeah, I mean, and those are. Falcon is less so, and Thunderbolts it's an okay movie too. Like if Thunderbolts they tried something different,
I
people
like
might not like
for that reason.
Yeah, they just did something different. Falcon was trying to
be the American.
It was trying to do Winter Soldier, but with Falcon, and it didn't really hit. But it was okay. It's not like I just finished watching it again yesterday. It's not like it's so awful. It's just meh. Yeah. It's not going to do anything, and I think that's where they've been stuck. They haven't been able to come to this point where like, oh shit. But if you look at the first group of movies that we're talking about, they were always building towards something. These movies are running in mud, man. They're just stuck in place. It doesn't feel like it has a direction to it. So that's why people aren't really, getting that much into it. On top of the fact that it's, the Iron Hearts of the world, and now what Simon Williams and World of Wakanda, and like it's just like that, like you're expanding this world. And maybe it didn't need to be expanded.
There's a reason why these people are being C-list.
Right. So that's it. All right. See, look, we got out of that in time. That ends that clip for freaking YouTube, but it's fine. Hutch, you need to go and see it. Like
I will. As the Negro spiritual goes, we will see.
We will see. Nice. All right. All right. And this is also for YouTube clip 2. So. I said it in the intro. This is a rough week for 80s kids for the RIPs, and I'm saying a week here. We're, probably a little closer to 10 days. But it's been a rough 10 days, over the course of those 10 days. Malcolm Jamal Warner, who played, obviously, Theo on The Cosby Show, passed away. Ozzy Osbourne passed away. And Hulk Hogan passed away as well. Now, Hulk Hogan, we'll do him last. When he did pass away, I did message Brother Beavis, and he was, to concise what he said, he was, was like, we're really just be, kind of shitting on his grave and pissing on him, even because we've made a tagline about this whole Hulk Hogan on this show. Like, I mean, we have. I won't even say it because he's dead now. But
fuck Hulk Hogan. I'll say.
There you go. Yeah, we made it a business here to, kind of whatever. And he was like, we just be dancing on his grave. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then, having listened to many podcasts and listened to and read
Kevin Nash,
I didn't listen to him, but I read something, read and listened to whatever. Like, I think there is a line where, and we'll get to it here in a bit, where we can kind of talk about that and also expose him for the person that he was without sitting on his legacy.
Look, I can't. Maybe this be the whatever. Hey, to be famous in this world and in this life, there's only one or two saints. The rest of them are complicated, and this character is complicated.
Well, and then let's do Theo first, then, because it feels like he was probably closer to the saint than of the three folks we're going to talk about here. So Malcolm Jamal Warner died.
Ozzy liked Black Sabbath. Yeah, sure. But yes, sir.
Theo, Malcolm Jamal Warner, he passes away. In 54. Costa Rica, like a rip current, something as a Floridian, you become on the alert to them, and when people are telling you where not to be or whatever. But you know, he's in another country. Who knows if there's lifeguards or whatever. I think I heard the backstory is that his daughter had gotten caught up in it, and he went to try to get her, and then got caught himself. This one hit pretty hard. I know y'all know me. I'm a huge Cosby Show fan. Bill
I'm
Cosby's
a
also a
huge
rapist.
Cosby Show fan too.
But it was like, I mean, that one hurt. I mean, we grew up with this, particular character or whatever. Always seemed to be
We
like,
were that character.
yeah, we're such
Except
a
for
nice,
being rich.
yeah,
And having nice hot sisters.
yeah, except for being like a nice, always seemed to be like a nice dude. You
Right.
never heard anything outside of anything really about him. So yeah, that one hurt.
He tried to
a
fight
lot.
against type. He was always you never heard anything bad about him. He played this character. He took this character from a teenager to a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
Did what he had to do in Hollywood, outside of Hollywood. He was upstanding, outstanding, every way, shape possible.
Yep.
The stuff happened with Mr. Cosby, and I didn't even hear him say anything bad about him.
Right. Like I think he took the stance of, that's something for him. Right. And that's not really any of my business to be getting into. And, he led a fairly private life, and I'll like be scrolling through things on Netflix all the time. And I'm like, man, is that Theo? He was on, like that, The Resident show. He's been a steady working
He was still
actor.
working. He was still
Yeah.
working. He was still doing his thing. Malcolm and Eddie and all that stuff. I mean, I watched, hey, a stand-up dude.
Yeah.
Like I said, everybody at my job was like, when this went down, we was all like, damn, that hurt. And that's from 50-something-year-olds down to 20-something-year-olds.
Yeah, that one hit kind of hard. I know, Brother Beavers, your family was a Cosby Show watching family as well.
Everybody was a Cosby watching show family, I think. So,
any Theo thoughts?
No, I mean, it was a surprise to me, and I wouldn't have known like one other thing that he did since the Cosby Show, but like I think he may be unique in that a lot of the like kid stars from that era like kind of didn't do anything past that role, or then maybe tried to cash in on the role. So yeah, I mean, the notion of the dad trying to save protect his family and stuff like that, like you said,
it's a little hard.
Yeah. No,
it's
the first instinct when at this point, like what were they fucking with is like the instinct when you hear about somebody dying, then you're like, oh shit, no, this is just like a real dude who just had a real tragedy.
Well, the first thing that happens now is like, was this a hoax? And then we see it on TMZ, like, shit, this shit is real.
Yeah, I mean, and again, there would have been no like, damn, that happened to Theo, like he was on the pipe or something shit. Like, I don't think anybody, that would have been the biggest surprise of all time if that were the case. So then you're like, damn, well, what happened in 54? Like, diabetes, blood pressure, like, something like the standard killers or whatever. But then, it's just, a dad being a dad, and that's that. Yeah, it hits a little hard for sure. So,
it's still of the three, that's the one hurts me the most. But yeah, it still hurt. It hurts a little bit. It hurts a lot of bit, actually. A lot of bit. But yes, does it make me want to watch the Cosby Show, them first 4 or 5 seasons? Maybe. Where I was not thinking about it 2 weeks ago.
And speaking of, I just kind of maybe saw that one coming a little bit. Ozzy Osbourne passes away at 76 years old. Rocker, Black Sabbath, on his own. Sadly, for 20 plus years, people probably remember him more for that reality show than the music that he made, that's tragic in and of itself. But
the Iron Man movie.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, I was listening, and I think you probably did too. I mean, think about the Road Warrior pop. When they play the first bars of Iron Man, when they come out to the ring and then beat up on jobbers. Like, I mean, that's Black Sabbath. That's Ozzy. That's like, holy shit. I would have never known who he was if it wouldn't have been for the Road Warriors and then Brother Beavis. And like that's something that's kind of like, oh shit, and then you hear the music or whatever, and if you're into that kind of thing, there's some good shit in there. You might have to search it more so if you're not really into it, but like, I mean, he was clearly talented as a freaking performer.
Now, let me throw this in here. Chipper Jones, the Hall of Fame baseball player for the Braves, his come out music was Crazy Train.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, who the heck sings that?
Exactly.
I found
Brother
out.
Beavis, you probably are bigger rocker here of the three of us. What you got?
Yeah, I mean the one thing you mentioned about wrestling is like back at that time, like you couldn't hear a lot of like real metal music. Like you could get Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin like all day on whatever classic rock radio was around, which that's kind of why I hate those bands now. But like, you could hear Iron Man on wrestling. And I think the problem I have with Ozzy like is I think twofold. Like he amongst like lead singers, he's in the performer category with Vince Neil and David Lee Roth. Like he was right for the band, and he was a presence as a front man, more so than an actually talented vocalist. So that's not the thing I gravitated to in my musical taste as much. So for Black Sabbath, give me the Dio Black Sabbath, and so that's kind of it. I think, by all accounts, Ozzy as a person was a great guy. Particularly once he was sober, and was a lot of fun to be around, and obviously contributed a lot. But the real problematic part is Ozzy LLC, or whatever you want to put it.
Yeah.
The business component that Sharon, in a lot of ways, exploited around him. In some cases, like his solo career was to keep him alive, because he was, and then after Randy died, like, we got to get him back on the road so he doesn't kill himself. And then you're right. He became sort of like, once they brought in a lot of outside writers, a lot of like paid hired guns for the band. And they just, strolled him out for Ozfest and things like that. He became sort of a money-making machine for Sharon, who I know she's suffering right now, and I don't want to pile on, but there's definitely multi-parts of that story. I guess, like I've said, it's complicated. So, rip Ozzy. I'm a fan of, like, some of the guitarists he had, and I'm a fan of the musicians within Black Sabbath, but he was not at the top of my list.
Yeah. I told my kids this story the day or shortly after he had passed away, and I'm gonna name check Residence Park. So, and then again, Brother Beaver and I are the same age, went to the same schools, graduated at the same time. Hutch is a little bit older than us, but I think this might be a Hutch and I story, but he even might have been gone too. So remember at the public school used to bring in people. Public school.
I hear you. Oh yes, damn, good call. Here it comes.
Bring in people from the church,
Yep.
and the Che would come into the school and go into your auditorium, your cafeteria, and you have your students there, and they was like, "Hey, this rock and roll music you listening to." Also, it's a pretty black crowd for them to come and say that to, by the way. But anyway, so they came in and they were like, "Yeah, this music that you're listening to," and they name checked Ozzy. That they name checked the story of him biting the head off the bat and throwing the puppies into the freaking thing well before fucking Behind the Music, brought those stories out however many years later.
And how did we find out about it? I don't know how we found it, because I don't know. It had to be the big three.
Yeah, these people came to the school and told this story. And they were like, "Yeah, this rock and roll music is bad from some church. It's bad. If you're going to hell, if you're listening to this, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, damn. And then they did they came in and they was like, literally, it almost feels like a rib. They came in and it was like, if you play this record backwards, you can hear devil chanting and shit. But what do you think I did when I went home? I went playing this shit backwards. I was like, "What? The devil's talking?"
This for you. This was at Residence Park.
This is at Residence Park. I might have been in 4th grade.
Correct, because I think they did the same thing with me, but I wasn't at Residence Park when you was at Residence Park.
Correct.
So that means mine was at, I want to say mine might have been
Raw?
at Gettysburg.
I was either out that day or they didn't come to Residence Park when I was there.
Okay, yeah. Well, they were like, the white children are here this year. We're not
That's
ready
right.
yet. The
But I
alternate
mean, but
box
yeah,
schedule.
the Beatles, the Beatles played their stuff backwards.
Yeah.
Judas Priest was sued for some guy. They said he
Killed
he
himself,
killed
right?
himself. Yeah.
Right, because
Yeah.
of the music. Or definitely
Yeah,
remember.
I mean, so
Right.
he was that was my first exposure to Ozzy Osbourne was that because they told that story. Like I'm saying, they told that story, and then what? God, behind the music had to be what 15 years later, and they like tell this story. I'm like, I know this story.
You're
I
like,
heard
that
this
shit.
song
That's
too.
real. That shit happened.
Now it was Ozzy and it was Alice Cooper.
It was mostly Ozzy at the time. Like that was the thing that was
What Alice Cooper did something that I can't name an Alice Cooper song to save my life. I
Yeah,
mean,
for
right
sure.
now.
School's out.
Oh, I felt that right. There you go. See?
Right, sure. So, but they said Alice Cooper was doing crazy stuff on stage, and then the Beatles. I didn't know who the Beatles were until old boy got shot.
Nope.
So this is a similar topic, but this is like in the last season of Stranger Things, they were doing the Satanic Panic versus D&D storyline. I was watching. I was like, I can't really watch this. This is hitting too close to home. Like that shit really happened.
Right, it sure did.
Yeah, and I'm fairly certain that they came to Residence Park to talk about that too.
They didn't talk about Marvel superhero role playing game though, did they?
No, they didn't.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we were safe there. But
even though they had the Son of Satan comic book, but
Mephisto.
and Ghost Rider, but other than that.
All right, so we're not avoiding it, but we'll jump into the Hogan conversation here. All right, let me try to thread the needle.
Do your
go ahead. I mean,
all right, so here me and my people over here. Most of these people are 20, 30 somethings. They're watching wrestling. They watched SummerSlam last night. They're all this and all that, and this Hulk Hogan the last thing most of these people know about Hulk Hogan was that his racist rant, and I heard it, and I was there or not there, but whatever. Yeah, these are right. So anyway, to get to the point, Hulk Hogan was complicated. I watch wrestling. I've been watching wrestling for 40 years, 50 years, whatever. Wrestling is where it is now because of Hulk Hogan, and I'm the biggest Ric Flair person ever. Hulk Hogan was super MAGA. I think Ric Flair is probably MAGA too. But he's a. I like wrestling for wrestling. They put the flag at half-mast in Florida. Whatever about that. The first thing I checked to see is did Muhammad Ali's flag, did he get his flag put at half-mast? Some people did. So Muhammad Ali got called the N-word a lot, but he still represented this country. He didn't go to the draft. He didn't do this stuff, but he was an American hero. Hulk Hogan was a made-up American hero, but he did his thing for America, and this is the America we're in now. But that's it.
Okay. All right. So, Brother Beavis and I's first hetero life mate date was to go and see WrestleMania 2 on closed circuit TV. Google it, kids.
39 years ago.
Dayton's Hara Arena.
At Dayton's Hara Arena to see WrestleMania 2 to watch him wrestle King Kong Bundy. That he won. I would say at the particular time, whenever that happened, we were only watching WWF at the time because it was just another form of wrestling that we could watch. As at 85 turned into 86, we kind of leaned more towards NWA and never really watched a whole lot of WWF outside of, well, it's on Saturday after cartoon, and or there was a Saturday night, which was an event thing to watch for everybody. So we weren't really fans of Hulk Hogan at all, I would say would be fair. And so spin it forward, not really a fan. Spin it forward, we know that he's in the WWF, then he's out. Then he shows up in WCW. That was kind of personal, but it wasn't really watching wrestling then anyway. And then when he turns at Bash at the Beach in '96, then yes, they had a renewed interest in wrestling because wrestling was so hot, and the NWO was the hottest thing or whatever. But I certainly wasn't an NWO fan because of Hogan, because I just never really liked his character, the character that he portrayed. Spin it forward to when he's done with wrestling or whatever, and this incident happens. Like, I can understand who people that were fans of Hulk Hogan, from Real American all the way through, even if you were, the MAGA American Hogan fan. I could see how this would be an upsetting event for you because you grew up idolizing him as a kid. You watched him kind of grow as a character or whatever. And then he, validated your political beliefs or whatever and whatever. Like, I can totally get that. What I don't get is people skipping over that part of his complicated relationship. You just can't skip over it. I'm sorry. It's not a skip overable situation. A man, take out the adultery, take out the voyeurism, take out the lawsuit. This man literally on camera admitted that he was a racist. Hard ER. That he was upset that his daughter, like he thought that he was paraphrasing, the worst thing in the world if he was to come back as a hard ER. Like, reincarnated. Like, how do you skip over that? I'm sorry. Like, so if people are like, oh, you can't, don't shit on him or whatever, but the Bischoffs, the Kevin Nash or whatever, probably people dancing on his grave or whatever. This is not dancing on his grave as much as it is like y'all are skipping over this part as if that was something that it should be skipped over. And I don't think that should be skipped over. Sorry, you just can't ignore it. Not me. Like, I can't ignore that part. But also wasn't a fan to begin with, so it just makes it easier for me to shit on him too. That's probably the bigger part. You know what? Like, use an example. Like, so if John McEnroe got a tape come out that he did some shit like this, yeah, that would be a problem for me.
Yeah,
Okay?
just
Like,
you
that would
wait,
be
because I'm going to guess that I'm going to guess he threw the N word around a couple
I'm
times.
sure he has, but I'm just saying if he's caught on tape doing this while he's sleeping with Pete Sampson's wife, like, that's gonna be a problem for me. But until that particular moment, because I admire that person so well for what he did on the court or the ring or whatever, like, I understand. Like, that would be like, okay, now I have to rectify my feelings about this particular situation. But since I didn't really care for him to begin with as a wrestler, in the ring, out of the ring, even the stories that we heard about him, about his massive lying and exaggerations or whatever, even if you take all of that out, that shit happened. It's on tape. It's just impossible to ignore for me. So that doesn't take away from him being the biggest wrestling star and all of that. Like, that, none of that gets taken away. But to be like, yeah, he was a great guy, man.
I ain't
Pump your
going
brakes.
there.
Like, pump your brakes super hard, because
Right.
and that's the stuff that we know that was on tape.
Right. Oh, right. This is, look, like I said, I'm pulling up stuff right now, and I didn't have to pull it up. It's just there. Look, if you're looking for sunshine and rainbows out of the wrestling community or their fan base for the most part, if you're looking for us interlocking hands and walking down the street being, brotherly love, good luck.
Yeah, but we're not, though. Like, and again, that's why people are like, oh, well, you got to separate Hulk Hogan from Terry Bollea or whatever. No, those were the two of the same people, man. At that point in time, he was
always
living.
Tony Bollea.
But he was living his gimmick at that particular time. Like, he's been probably living that gimmick, or was living that gimmick, probably since the mid '80s, late '90s. At that point, they're the same person. So, like, whatever. Brother Beavis, go ahead, man. I'm sorry, I took up.
Yeah, I mean, I for sure like remember just seeing the Iron Sheik victory and the phenomenon, and I'm sure that like caught on for a second, but I can't say for certain, but I'm assuming it's less than a handful of leg drops I had to see to be like, these matches don't like. So he just decides he's ready to win and he wins. So yeah, not a fan. I feel certain I was pulling for King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania 2. Although I have to say, my number one memory of that event is "Don't
Here
you
we go.
spill that shit on me, boy."
Boy,
So yeah, he was not the favorite part of the NWO for me because I wanted to see the person who could wrestle, which was Scott Hall before he like completely fell off. But
Yep.
I mean, like it's crazy to me, like even like Randy Savage and Ric Flair, who like he treated like total jobbers,
Yeah.
and you know biggest superstars, and like they'll be like, oh, we made a lot of money together. I'm like, yeah, but like he made y'all look like clowns.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, I think you're right. Like if you're not starting from a place of I like what he did in the ring,
Yeah.
so I can even have the discussion about not liking him outside of the ring, and most recently for just supporting our current president. But like this is a case where I think, as you said, I'm not going to separate the artist from the art.
Yeah, how how did you skip over that part of the obituary? Like that's my point. Like I'm like, come on, man. Like at least have an honest, not discussion, but at least an honest thing about that part. And I think
I think
again, I'm sorry.
I think Nash and them, they know it, and but they were closer to him.
Of
So
course.
and it's everything was still. I mean,
They made a lot of money with him too.
They made a lot of money with him, and hey, that right? They can overlook it more than we can.
Yeah.
But then the other part of it too is like like his apologies most recently have been on these like real right wing conservative podcasts where like he's telling these outlandish stories still. It's like, dude, you're not credible. Like you're not credible, and this whole like whatever his whole his whole reclamation tour was just incredible.
It's kind of like here's another person who just recently passed away, Pete Rose. Pete Rose, right? He was, I didn't bet on baseball. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And he wrote it until he couldn't write it no more. And then like, oh yeah, I did it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as a counterexample because I'm sitting here like he should have been in the Hall of Fame. Because I'm a mark for the Cincinnati Reds. So.
Right, because we're all Reds. I think
that's
I'm a Reds
great
fan.
Yeah, and we are.
Right,
yeah,
so
that's
I'm
a great
like,
example.
Right, it's right. I'm damn. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He's a hits leader. He did all this and all that. I mean, there's only one rule in baseball, and don't bet on the shit.
And like virtually everybody in baseball hates him except for like Mike Schmidt. Everybody hated him.
Even his county bench is like, right. We won rings together, but he was an a-hole.
Yeah,
that's a great example. So, but that's all I'm saying. Like again, I don't think talking about that takes away from the person or the impact that he made as a professional wrestler. Like I don't think that takes away from that. But to not acknowledge it as like a reason that he got booed when they were in, the first night on Netflix or whatever, and the reason that people, murmuring, in the crowd when his name gets mentioned, or lightweight booing. Like, I mean, yeah, man, because to a lot of people who he was the hero of, on the opposite side of that, a lot of those people were like, hey, man, fuck Hulk Hogan because of what he did, because it was so freaking outrageously out there, and he never, apologized for it. So yeah, Arachnoid. Like that's as good as it's gonna get. So I'm gonna move on in that clip.
Go forward. Rest in peace, all of them.
Not one of them.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Noted. All right. So let's get into these damn books, which is really the whole purpose of this particular podcast.
44 minutes, we get to the comic.
Yeah, I know. Get to the comic books at 44.
Of this 3-hour podcast.
Well, honestly, they're probably the least out. They're probably the books are the least interesting part of the whole thing. So, all right. So, writer Scott Lobdell. This was released in February '95. Mark Waid is on the dialogue, but Ron Garney on the pencils. Now, why do we have a dialogue and a writer? I wonder. It's kind of curious. Tim Townsend, the anchors on this as well.
You got to make it fit the character, you know, right?
Well, but they actually credit Lobdell as the plot. So the plot
Okay.
is
This is
they're
in
going to
the
send Cable's mind back in time so he can reconnect, blah, blah, blah. The dialogue is, Charles, humans cannot live in harmony with each other.
yes, which is weird because well, whatever about Mark Waid. All right, anyway, so here we go. All right, so they go back in time, and we get a chance to see Xavier and Magneto in a bar out throwing absolute hands here. Okay, so I got a question. What? Okay, let's just say that Magnus grew up in a concentration camp. Things were tough. Meals are hard to come by. I can imagine that you could, come up with the idea of being able to fight a little bit because you had to survive. Why is Charles out here beating people's asses, sir?
So he can predict where the blows are coming from, so he
Mm.
can block and counter. And he also has an enhanced understanding of the human physiological nervous response, so he can hit pressure points.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Now that's dialogue, bitch.
Right, yeah, that's a whole lot of. Well, there's a story, or these Charles Xavier stories. He's a character, and I mean, it's been the best stories and some of the worst stories are him being a character in his youth.
Well, yeah. This particular story, he and Magneto still haven't confessed their Homo sapien,
Homo superior,
sapien love, sort of their superior love for one another. They haven't just said that they actually are, although both suspect that the other is. And
there is some will they, won't they
yeah.
heat.
There's some super bad something.
Yeah. So and again, they've set this path that we already know about. Charles is like, can't we all get along? And Magneto's fuck the police. Like it's there, like from the beginning. Like we already get a chance to see that. And even though, well, if Homo superiors existed, hey, we could just get along. He's like, no, that's not gonna work for me, brother. These people are gonna come after us and do all these particular things to us and whatever. And then, when they see a local, disabled person getting picked on, Charles doesn't like disabled people getting picked on. It starts this whole bar fight, and they have this big old thing here with Charles, touching pressure points and all of these types of things. It's a fine enough
arts class A or
but also, up to this point, this is not something that you'd ever seen Charles doing. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you've seen him in books, like fighting people like this.
No, because when you see him walking, I think for the first time he's wearing that yellow full body
yellow
suit
and black.
He wasn't about to. In his one fight, he got busted in the head with a bottle.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't do so well there. I mean, it's fine. I thought. I mean, like I said, it was a layer that you didn't get a chance to see when Magneto does turn babyface in Age of Apocalypse. It makes sense then too, that he experienced this thing with Charles, and he leaned into the dream after what actually had happened. So I mean, it does make sense. All right, so that's in the past. In the present, the Shi'ar have come in, like I said, with the neogenic recombinator. Google it, kids. And so basically, well, they've come up with this plan, like because Cable's time travel is broke. Like he can't go back in time, which is what they had actually asked him to do. So they call on the Shi'ar. They bring in this machine that they have to put Cable in as like the energy boost or whatever. Like, I mean, I wrote down whatever it says on here. They hook up Charles, Cable, and Jean to the machine, and then one person is the steady person in here, and then they're boosting Cable's powers so he can go in the past, and Jean is like, it's
sure.
It feels like we missed the video game level where they had to fight a boss to get each piece of this to put themselves
something.
The best part of this panel is like Gambit and Rogue in the bottom, like,
right. They're always gonna be the
okay.
Neither one graduated high school, right?
I was just about to say, what's the chance that Rogue or Gambit graduated from high school?
There's a GE question mark.
Where's my game show sounder? Let's play the game. Highest level of education for Gambit.
10th. Shit,
Yeah.
maybe
Oh,
ninth.
Brother Beavis.
Yeah, 10th was my instinctive response too.
I'm going ace. Probably finished middle school. Did not make it to high school.
You don't think he made it till he could at least
I
drive?
think
He was
he
probably
was.
legal.
Like,
He,
what do
he,
you think?
he
You
might
really
have
think?
been pockets at age 10 and never
Hold
saw
up.
school again.
He
Hold
probably
up.
went from dirt bike to motorcycle.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But hold on. You really think that Remy LeBeau went to the DMV
What's damn,
and got a class D driver's license? Really? You can't
Well,
produce no
now that
ID.
you put it that way, probably not.
You
Did they
can't
let
produce
him?
no
I don't
ID,
think is he allowed to
no
drive?
security. I mean, he's drives motorcycles, so assuming he can drive a car. He probably stole a few.
I'm
Ain't
sure he knows how
no
to
way.
hot wire him.
Ain't no way. And Rogue probably didn't make it out of 7th, 8th grade either.
Yeah,
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
but
I
that's
don't think-
more societal problems.
The Louisiana schooling. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly.
They're not coming from strong school districts either way.
Right.
And it seems like there was some parenting, issues.
Very
There's some nature and nurture going on here.
There's some right. Somebody should be in jail.
Somebody fell through the cracks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Gambit's got to have what at best typical. He got typical reasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even he's like, yeah, I'll be on your team. I'll go to your school, but I'm not going to any classes. Y'all keep
but wait a minute though. He probably has a degree from Xavier School.
Oh yeah.
Phoenix Learning Center.
That's right.
Yeah,
he got his online GED.
All right, he got it right.
Center
throwing pipe.
They had to give him a degree so he could play on their basketball team.
Right.
They had to enroll him so he could ball.
My cheeks are hurting. Xavier out here giving out diplomas. Whatever.
Because he's running that varsity softball team and that varsity basketball team.
Yeah. and he's also divorced too. So yeah.
All right.
Well, the wedding never happened, so
no.
Yeah.
They were only betrothed.
Yeah. All right. So everybody got that, and everybody understands like what this is because, yikes, this is something else. All right. So that's the plan. All right. So before we get there, all right. Is Bobby Drake a jerk, y'all? Like I understand Hutch made his, bit. This was in a situation at a time where we did not know that Bobby Drake was gay.
We should have known.
Yeah, well, maybe and no. I mean, again, there's all the failed relationships or whatever that have come up to this point, but he's kind of also a little bit of a bitchy queen here too, and it's like he might just be a jerk. Like,
yeah,
he might be a
Bishop's like, come on, just carry this crate. Shut the fuck up. Come on, we gotta carry this crate. And he's got to bitch about it the whole time.
Yeah, he's bitching about it the whole time, and I'm just like, man, like over the course of this book. And some of the books that we had read, but prior to this, when we were in the early, maybe it was after this, whenever we were doing the Extinction Agenda or whatever, or not Extinction Agenda, whatever the one they just did on the X-Men 97 cartoon show. Like he was a part of that stuff with Bastion too. And it was like, man, he's kind of a jerk. Oh, yeah. And then later on, we find out, the alternate version or whatever, him happened to be gay. But we were like, I don't know. The character is not great to begin with, and I just don't know if this was an extension. Go ahead.
Damn. It does say for Gambit, education, self-educated.
Homeschool. Yeah, that's a problem too.
What?
Yeah, neither of them.
When he started out as he was the youngest person on the team. In Marvel years, we don't know what that is, but he might have been like 13 or 14 when he was on that original X-Men. And he was the prankster, jokester, like whatever.
He was right,
and he's never.
He was their changeling.
Yeah, and they've kind of always written that into him, and now it's like, you a grown ass man, you need to stop. Like, you're Omega Mutant.
Yeah, it's mean spirited.
You need to stop.
Yeah, it's much more mean spirited. or whatever. And then, me being the person I am, like, hey man, why you talking to Bishop like that? I will smack the shit out of you. Like, why are you talking to black folks like this? Like, what are you doing, man? Like, and Bishop is way too, like, whatever about that. I don't know. Hutch, you had something about Bobby Drake.
I said, I really, when I think of Bobby Drake, I think of the early X-Men stuff, and I think of my next thing was the Amazing Friends, and right, and I think he was kind of a jerk, or he was the good guy in the movies, right? And the other guy was the hothead dude.
Yeah, he was more of the steady
right.
hand.
I haven't read the comic books recently, so whatever. And the X-Men 97. Yeah. They're trying to make you kind of relevant or something relevant. Something. Gotta be something. Gotta stick out.
Yeah, he's just, I don't know. Like, it's just, I was just like kind of reading these books over the last few times that we've done this. And I'm like, man, Bobby Drake is not a nice person. Like, we affectionately called, Johnny Storm, dickhead Johnny Storm, because he was just like, them Secret Wars books, man. Like, it's not a surprise that somebody tied him in the ground, because they just made him like this absolute awful person.
Now, Sunspot, when he first came out, he was a jerk.
Yeah. And Thunderbird.
Yeah.
Like, they were all miserable. The whole, like, brand new X-Men.
And actually, listen, all the minorities in the X-Men were jerks.
Uppity. I believe is the term.
Right. Sunfire was a jerk. Yeah, they were all jerks.
Okay. I just kind of like was kind of trying to. Yeah, well, they're not allowed black people.
But the rest of them were
women.
Storm was like those first books were like, damn, the supervillains after Storm again. Like that. Like every one of them was like, sweet brown sugar.
Yeah.
Like,
right. Storm just wanted to run out there butt ass naked and take a swim. Back in the day.
Yeah, Doom. Yeah, Doom, Dracula about to give up their whole empires just for a taste of brown sugar.
Loki.
That's terrible. That too. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
They all got pictures of her in some form of trouble.
Back in the past, this artwork, by the way, not 100% sure.
He's like, you can look at different panels throughout this. It's like, okay, that's like, there's a Jim Lee transfer, there's a John Romita transfer, there's a Kubert transfer. Like, is very much seems to be like trying to fit in with a lot of the styles. And I feel like I've seen other his books like out of this that I like, but like these very much like did they have guest authors here? Did he lift panels or what?
Yeah. Well, I'll name check you even further back, because we used to read this book back in the day. He was the author on one of those Captain America books that we used to read back in the day. Not on the pod, like a long time in this era. And like Ron Garney was on that. And it was like the art was one of the best parts about the book. I think that was him and Mark Waid, to be honest with you. You could Google that.
Was that Sentinel of Liberty?
Maybe. It was like a really good book, and it was nothing like this. It does look like it looked like they kept hiring people. Like, can you do a fake Jim Lee?
But there's a picture of Cable on the Scooby-Doo page where that's like exactly John Romita's style.
Yeah. So they all got jobs working on the docks. Whatever. They barely remember each other's names. They don't understand why they're in the past. Psylocke is trying to unlock, the memories or whatever. I don't know who I am, but I know I have this psionic.
Yeah, I don't know how my powers work, but I know if I focus the totality of my psychic powers, I can manifest it displayed. For some reason, that sticks in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. And let's just say tensions are high between the team after 3 weeks of doing this particular bit. All right.
Working on the dock is hard.
Okay, so this is gross. It takes a special person to write this, and I don't mean special in the right way. Knowing what we know about Mr. Lobdell now, this is him. Okay, so back in the past, Legion is there. Charles and Magnus are out fighting on the docks. Legion is, putting his plan into place, and he comes to his mother, Gabriella Holler as, as Charles. And, he meets her in the garden or whatever. And, he talks to her and he seduces his mom and bangs her. That's the implication. And has sex with his mother.
Yeah.
What? What are we
This
doing
is-
here?
Oh, this is old school stuff.
Come on, man. Come
There's
on, man.
what was that?
Like this.
Ophius? What's that shit?
Oedipus.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been drinking. Yeah, I mean, this is that kind of shit.
It feels like they was in the writers' room and was just like, all right, remember that scene from Back to the Future?
Let's let them
let
go all the way.
fuck.
Yeah, I just checked the cover. This is approved by the Comics Code Authority. So I don't.
I mean,
Look,
you would
we've
think
all watched
disgusting.
Game of Thrones. Dude, some of
Yeah,
this.
fair.
And
But
hey,
this is
and
not
they
Game of
they
Thrones.
love Back to the Future. That they were So,
No, I mean, yeah, there's that. I mean, there's Luke and
yeah,
Leia before we leave, which is kind of weird. But Back to the Future and Empire Strikes Back, that's level one. This is a definite raise
But
of the level here in terms
think
of what
about
they're
it too.
implying.
Like, so Gabrielle Holler first has been exploited by her medical provider. Like Charles has
Yeah.
100% inappropriate relationship.
Yeah, he's the handyman and the
And
mind.
now exploited
Yeah.
by her child in the form of the medical worker who exploited her.
Yeah. It's a therapist dream.
Therapist nightmare.
Billable hours. No, there's a lot of billable hours
Right.
here, sir. Yeah, I just
And maybe that's why you go cray
yeah,
cray,
this is
or even more cray cray.
well, I mean, yeah, but it's just weird. Like I was just like, it wasn't needed. Don't call me
Yeah,
Charles
yeah.
tonight. Like really? Oh man,
But now
Who's your favorite new kid?
when this came out 30 years ago, I mean, it was weird then too. But of course, when you get older, it's even weirder, or it should.
Yeah. Oh no, we're definitely looking. I probably didn't blink an eye at this in 1995. I mean, I probably did. Like, ooh, that's gross. But like, sensibilities of being older. It's like,
right.
Bro,
It's you're right. That's that thing about Kitty calling old boy the N word.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. I was like, I kind of glossed over it in 1980 something.
And somebody's boy, when he was 18, was involved in a romantic relationship with Kitty Pryde, who was like 13 at the time.
Right. Yeah. All right. I'll give rid of that colossal right.
He wasn't right about that.
No, he wasn't right. And something else too. But that's another thing. Yeah, he was a little Chester.
I guess Rip Jim Shooter put an end to that. So.
Oh yeah, R.I.P. Yeah, Jim Shooter.
Like,
all right.
One of the things we need to do with Secret Wars is get rid of this relationship.
Yeah, please. So back at the docks, this is when it all goes down. The neogenic recombinator works. Cable is transported to the past. He's anchored or like drawn closer to Bishop because Bishop is, also time displaced or whatever. And it's basically like, remember, as he tries to impart to them like what is actually going on and what is happening and why they're in the past, because he's only there for a little bit. I mean, it's actually a good scheme and it's a very good, kind of splash page that they do here. But Cable still sucks. I don't care if he saves the universe. He sucks. That's basically it. And we're going to talk about that in a bit. But that's really...
Here's the kicker of the kicker. Todd McFarlane, for all the suckitude and all the shit, why is his character the most popular one?
No, you mean Rob Liefeld?
Oh, I'm sorry, Rob Liefeld, excuse me. But McFarlane too. Oh, I mean Venom and whatever, them type of thing. But yeah,
they're from an era where like the art captured everybody's attention, and like in some cases, I still don't get it with Liefeld. McFarlane's a different thing. Like I think his visuals on Spider-Man, I think, sort of redefined the character in that moment. Not redefined, but it just instantly stood out as a depiction relative to the 500 issues that had come before that, and a lot of that dynamic style and the much more darker mix of the the darker colors, things like that. for Spawn, like the Spawn imagery is what made that character, and it had, you know, a reasonable story behind it. I think it would come off very 90s
For
now,
Image.
cliche, but yeah,
For
for Image. But there was never anything behind a Liefeld character if somebody else didn't put it there. And then once his art got more and more outlandish, it was like, what are we even doing here? This guy sucks.
Yes. And the Venn diagram of people that are probably Hulk Hogan fans, Rob Liefeld fans, and Cable fans are all in the thing because they're oh man, it's bad. They're simple people. Cable's a simple character. He's big, he's got guns, he shoots or whatever. That's it. Hogan's a simple character. There's nothing complicated about that particular character. Like they're just drawn to the visual. Like that's it. He's big, he's strong.
You apparently never tried to explain Cable's backstory to somebody if you're willing to make the claim he's a simple character.
Reverse.
I had to explain Cyclops to somebody the other day, and I was like, "Oh, well, see, they were flying, and then the aliens came, and, and then he got pushed off, but then he got his powers. That's why he can't control it. So they were an orphanage, but his brother got adopted."
Right.
Yeah.
Mutants.
And the whole time I'm like, at least they didn't ask about Cable.
Next time they said, like, let me explain the neogenic recombinator.
Yeah, it's everything to all people. That's all you need to know.
And so Legion, fresh off that incest, you know, when Charles and Magnus are headed back to the hospital, he's, you know, like, and now I'm here. It's like the end of a cartoon, really. You know, this is what I'm here for, and now I'm going to end you, Magnus, because you are an evil person, and, you know, my mom can be happy with me and my seed, and it's just gross.
She's ripped up clothes, crying, left on the stone.
Yeah, it's like, what did he do? Like, yeah, Wiz is completely fucked up. Like, dude, like,
why'd you have to make us read this again? I feel bad.
I paid for it.
What did I do? I didn't do nothing. So yeah, and so that's the end of our issue as we get prepared for episode 4, which is the last episode that leads into it. Hutch, I asked Brother Beavis at the time, because I don't know if you were reading comic books in January of '95, but no, okay, so then it wouldn't make any sense, because I remember, because this is when I had kind of gotten back on, was that the death of Xavier was a huge deal. Like, I mean, there was, you know, the comic book store I was going to, but the comic book store I was going to, you know, had like all this stuff up and like, you know, the coffin, you know, Marvel really played it up for, you know, at the time, because it was an event. Yeah. And, you know, at this point, events hadn't gotten way out of control. And, you know, and they really played into it. And, you know, it was such a big deal at the comic book shop. But you weren't collecting them.
But this would have been like the 3rd or 4th time Xavier died.
Right. I was I'm trying to figure out the last time that he died.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, once they brought Phoenix back or Jean Grey back, everybody was dying, and I was like, they'll come back eventually.
Help me out.
Or maybe Flash.
Help me out, though. Is this, well, outside of Flash, maybe, in Marvel, is this, that you can remember, is this the first time a death of the character created an alternate universe of books?
I can't remember that part. I mean, a superhero dying in alternate reality.
Well, because this started like a little bit of a run for Marvel here, because these are Age of Apolypse, where a couple years later we're going to wind up getting an alternate universe for Heroes Reborn and Heroes Return. Amalgam was not really an alternate universe in that regard. Well, I don't know if somebody died. Well, I don't know if somebody died or whatever, but there's been some examples where they were like, oh, okay, we'll kill this character off, and then we'll make these series of books, you know, to make some money off of that too, you know, as an event to hotshot the title, so to speak. But yeah.
Now, I was about to say, the only character I remember that they really, I mean, they did kill Captain Marvel, the dude.
Yeah, but I'm saying it didn't spawn like a whole nother thing.
Nothing like this.
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't the first like crossover within the X-Men, but it did feel like more of an event than the previous ones.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're going to get to those Age of Apocalypse books here when we're finished with this, but like, I mean, that was a big deal back then. I mean, I remember that being a big deal, because people were really excited about that. But okay,
Like
all right.
when the last cover I remember was Superman dying, and that was a
Yeah.
big deal.
Mm.
And
But it didn't spawn like an alternate universe. It spawned
it
alternate
just spawned
Superman.
a bunch of horrible Supermen.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the companion piece for this book is Cable number 20. And it's Jeff Loeb, Ian Churchill, who is, oh gosh, Ian Churchill was doing a poor man somebody else. Oh no, sorry. Ian Churchill was the artist here, and then I think was it Brett Booth would do the poor man's Ian Churchill. I believe that's what it was. And then they were all doing poor man's of Michael Turner, R.I.P. I believe that's how that worked. So yeah, this releases in February of '95 as well, and this is basically like, okay, the aftermath of the neogenic recombinator working, and basically everybody just saying their goodbyes because the Imcron crystal thing is shooting across the universe, and then everybody's like, talking to their boo about whatever is about to happen. So you get, oh Scott, we or hey Cable, we were slim and whatever, red and slim in your alternate future past. And he's like, oh bitch, I knew. I mean, you are a powerful telekinetic and telepath. I don't know why he hadn't known. But Gene and Scott, saying goodbye with Xavier, like Rogue and Gambit comparing their eighth grade transcripts because that's as high as they got to see, what did you get in writing?
What the
Because
fuck is geometry?
exactly. So I mean, like that's basically like the whole story of this book. There's a thing where Domino and Cable have their moment together. And the end of the book is, the crystal coming upon them. I can get to it. Come on. Them waiting for the crystal to come with a static two shot of everybody staring into the camera, and the crystal overwhelming them, and essentially that being the end of it. The weird part about this, and looking at the release dates of the books, like these books were still going on after they had already started the Age of Apocalypse part. Like
Yeah.
Omega had already come out, or Alpha, excuse me. That Alpha book had already come out, but you didn't really know what the final story was, even though you knew something was going to happen. So shipping delays are not new, folks. They've always happened, and that's pretty much it of it.
But did they stop publishing the books for 4 months while they did Age of Apocalypse or no?
Yeah, no, yeah, because
Did they?
remember everybody got not everybody, but they turned into monthly.
Yeah, yeah.
So Uncanny became Amazing, I think, and
I just
X,
remember Gambit and the Externals became
yeah,
was
Gambit
one
and
of
the
the titles.
Externals was one. Amazing X-Men. I think there was a Cable had his own book too when he was the non legacy
X-Man.
virus, but
X
yeah,
Force,
X-Man. No,
X Force,
X-Man. He was
Mhm.
X-Man. Yeah, yeah,
Worst. That
and
one was
he was
terrible.
super powerful as well. Yeah. So I mean, that's it. I mean, what do you think of the book overall here?
Which the part
The
three or the?
overall, well, yeah, just part three. Part three.
I mean, since you since you brought the atrocities to the forefront, I can't. I mean, I'm kind of shook by the whole thing at this point. Um, it was, uh, we had it was the solid like 8 pages of the Adventures of Charles and Eric, which is an interesting period. That was the majority of the book, and then the Scooby Doo portion to get us from point A to B. So very much like just kind of we got to get to a point, but it is progressing. So it is like it's not just like 3 pages, 3 issues of mystery, and then the grand reveal. It is pushing us
Right.
toward the end story. So
Yeah. I mean, I
it's all
thought it
right.
was. I mean,
Atrocities aside, it's
That's
all right.
right. I thought it was fine. It was, you know, it's better to make a 4-part miniseries than a six.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's made its way to the ultimate conclusion that we're gonna get in issue 4. And then these books also don't have the sporadic, oh, you got to read this part, you got to read this book, you got to read this book, to get you
Mm,
to that part.
Yeah.
This is that era too, and like
mm.
this, it's a streamlined story. It's going to get you to the end, and then it's going to get you to the restart or reboot fairly quickly. So I have no problem with it. It wasn't filler. It was the storyline progression out of the the fashion that it's supposed to. And then when we get to the end, it becomes a schmoz a little bit. But beyond that, it's actually not that bad. All right. Look, an hour and 15. Oh, we're gonna be here for 3 hours. Blah 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 blah.
You're not counting the lead up.
It ain't over yet.
It is over. I got nothing. I'm just saying. So we'll be back. You know, I call you know, whatever. No, we'll be back to have the conclusion of this, which would be Legion Quest Part 4. I think it's X-Men 41 or 42, and then we'll jump into it's X-Men Age of Apocalypse Alpha. Like that's the chrome covered foiled book or whatever. That's the one that Brother Beavis got me. Yeah, that got me to get me back into the game of comic books for Christmas. And I was like, oh shit, like we're back in the game. And I was a full on base head pretty much at that point. Yep. Price of a brick is going up. So, and this like kind of starts a resurgent era, I think, honestly, because having gone back and read a lot of the books to recollect, this is a resurgent era, I think, for X-Men at this particular point. And they go on a fairly decent run, pretty much up to Uncanny.
Up to the Grant Morrison era?
Well, no, I think it stops maybe before that. I think it starts to get a little bit whatever after Joey Mad leaves at 350. Yeah, at 350, then it starts to get. Then we're getting. I mean, even though it was before, but then we're starting. Oh, you Maggot and Celia Reyes and like that kind of shit. And it's just like, what are we doing here? And now we're kind of stuck.
Well, just to connect the dots, that is like the start of we get mutants, but not really heroic mutants.
They tried to bring out new folks.
Yeah, continually.
Is that Tar and Maggot or
Maggot? Listen, Maggot's gonna happen before Joey Mad leaves, but yeah, it's in that particular era here. Yeah, and then we're gonna roll into. Are we rolling it? Is Joseph a part of that too?
I think so.
Oh
yeah. I think that's when I was like, hey, wait a second, what's going on, man?
Joseph is that Scott's? That's Scott's brother?
No, he's a clone of Magneto.
Yeah. I was.
Or some kind of Magneto.
Oh bitch, I don't know what he was to him.
Right, he was right.
It's something like that.
Yeah, this is me. This is me, just like la 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 la. That's $5 saved. $5 saved.
Yeah,
$5 saved.
Wasn't that much back then, but yes.
But you had to buy 2 or 3 books to try to keep up with it.
Yeah, that's fair. There are days that I wish I could be like, I wonder how many books I had in that freaking in my pool box at a point, and at a time. You know what I mean? Like I was going every week and still checking the wall and getting the pulls. I was just like, golly. And what did that get me? Like nothing. Because it doesn't mean anything.
Got you a sore butt on the toilet seat. That's what
exactly. So all right. But that's it. That's where we are. We'll be moving forward. We'll be trying to pull Hutch back onto these things to make him not buy certain books. Hopefully hopefully we have to pull up your window there so we can see what books that you already have, so you don't have to buy anymore.
Most of these other things was DC. So you ain't talking about new shit.
Not without saying, man. All right. So that's it, y'all. So again, you can find us. I did this on the last one. SoundCloud, Apple Pod. So many people have gone out of business. Google Play.
Do your research.
Oh, I'm
talking about our fan base. Yeah, do your research.
Podbean, you can find anywhere. I mean, if you go on,
give us some places that are still active. We might actually put it there.
iHeartRadio. If you go on iHeartRadio, you can find it as well. But that's it, y'all. We're wrapping up. I'm the producer of this podcast. I'm signing off. Brother Beavis, go ahead and sign off.
All right, see you soon, I guess.
Yeah, we'll be good. I think we can be back close to a regular schedule.
I mean, we even with a couple of weeks off, we did 3 podcasts in like 5-6 weeks. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. I need a break.
That's like a good MLB average at least.
300.
Yeah, I need a break.
275.
Hutch, thanks for joining.
I'm here. I'd just be like whatever. Yes, Colossus, check them IDs.
Yeah.
She said she was 18.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right. All right. We'll see everybody on the other side. Peace, everybody.
See you.
Peace.